when you gotta show the actual airsoft box so that YouTube knows that you are talking about toys. So today is the first episode of many of my in-depth series, I suppose, of my airsoft armory. Starting with the MP7A1, and I didn't do like an unboxing video or anything like that on this because I actually bought it used, and this what the series kind of gonna fill that void of just kind of explaining, you know, more in depth, more than the armory video anyway, about, you know, each of my classes or weapon loadouts or whatever, and just everything about it that I like and I don't like and stuff like that, just in a more dedicated video fashion. So first off to start is our MP7A1 Gas Blow Back SMG by Tokyo Marui. And this thing I got on a website called Mercari. I think in America it's called Mercury. This tissue here is because I'm sick. It's not because of happy tissues. They are sad tissues. I got it off Mercari. I guess that's what you call it. It's so weird to say it in English. It's Mercari. And it's basically like eBay or like Craigslist, I suppose, but way more secure than that. And I bought it used off a dude who used it maybe about once or twice. And it came with three magazines. And we'll talk about those magazines in a sec. But this is basically it. And it was just an impulse buy because I just wanted to have, you know, a gas blowback MP7, or I don't even really like the MP7 that much. I just want to have an SMG for indoors. So that's basically this. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. This is the box that's proving it, and this is not what it looks like when it came in. And we have the old foregrip. So this is what the box kind of looks like. It's not exactly, this would have BBs in it and stuff. There would be an instruction manual. There is none. This is the original foregrip, which the guy did not give me the cap to actually, and the screw to actually put this in, so I don't use it. And it actually has the, what is this? The 12 by, smells like cigarettes because I guess he had it in a smoky house. It's a 12 by 14 adapter that it's attached to this right now, but this is actually the original 12 millimeter flash hider for that particular special round. I can't remember the name off the top of my head for the MP7 itself. And it also came with 2 followers and a changeable fire selector switch, I think for the right side or right side if you want the shorter one. There. Don't mind me, I'm sick, so I'm not the super highest of energies right now, but I'm gonna try and get this over with. Not over with, I'm enjoying this. So my MP7A1. Here is the build that I use for CQB indoors. Let's take a look at the left side here. It's on, not even on safe. Like that. Very nice, very cool, very awesome. Panoramic shot, very cool. Now, we're gonna go tip to butt, grand thumb style. And it looks like we already have some damage on here. I don't know how this got damaged right now. I'm gonna have to fill that in with a black marker or something, but it's bound to happen anyway. Really don't know how I got that. Wow, geez. You know what, I like getting about black stuff because you can just color it in if it does go awry. And this thing was super cheap. This thing is like 15 bucks or something like that. So you can just paint over that, maybe spray paint it someday, but for now, that will have to do. I don't know how this got damaged. It probably got damaged when I threw it in the box just now. Probably. But anyway, that's all fixed now. So let's talk about this tip to butt grand thumb style. So the first thing here is our X-Core-Tech XT301 Mark II. Very short tracer. I remember buying this tracer because I went to an airsoft game and I forgot my tracer unit for my QRF, which I don't have anymore. And then basically I just bought this on the spot. It was like $85, and I just wanted a short suppressor, blah, blah, blah. And I never actually used it for the longest time because I don't think it looks as tactically cool as the full size, you know, mock suppressor tracer units. But that being said, this is like the ultimate meta tool. Like, the size really matters in Sabage over here in Japan because spaces are tight, there's no sprinting, and you got to take advantage of all that very tight space that you can get in CQB. So sometimes the pieces of cover are literally as wide as this table, and just having a gun that's super small and not having your barrel sticking out is super important. So this size tracer is very, very popular here in Japan. Now, it's not very bright, and I think that's because I might have screwed up a setting on it. I think I have to like press the buttons or something like that to make it go into like eco mode or not eco mode, but it's not as bright as I want it to be right now, so I'm pretty sure I can fix that to make it have full blast energy. But anyway, that goes on to the adapter here, which is the 12 by 14 by 12 millimeter thing, and I'm not going to take this out right now because I think it's actually stuck, and I think if I try to get rid of that, it'll break it. So I'm going to leave it on here because I never plan to take this off anyway, except if I go outside. Actually, yeah, if I ever play this outside, I'll probably take it off or put on an actual suppressor, make it cool. And then as we move along to the front here, we have a light switch. Now this light switch is for my mock replica, whatchamacallit, flashlight. And it is a Surefire 200B, I think, or 600B, 200B. It's a scout light. It's like not the super stubby one, and it's not the super long Surefire M600. It's like a shorter-ish version. This was originally supposed to be on my whatchamacallit, on my I switch between these all the time. I switch this between my rifles and everything. So that's why I actually got this little metal pocket that I can just move the tape switch over and over. I used to actually get the dedicated like light switch, but I realized that if I did that, I would have to buy a light switch for like every single thing, or a flashlight set for every single one, because it's pretty permanent solution. Well, not really, it's just annoying. So it's easier to just use a pocket and just keep the regular tape switch, save some money there, not have to buy a new cable set. So that's why I use this. And the reason why I have it out a little bit more and not super all the way out, like as far as it can go, is because I think that looks ugly. Honestly, I just think it looks ugly. So I just like having it right before whatever muzzle device is happening here, or if it happens just before the flash hider ends or something like that, that's what I would keep on there. So have it on there. Unfortunately, I don't put it on top because I can't really C-grip this thing, so there's no point having it there. So it's better to just have it here, and you know, just like that, and you can just kind of maneuver the weapon like that. And if I have to switch shoulders, I don't have to with this actually transition and change my hand grip. I can just go like this, like quite literally. And if I do need to switch over, I can literally just, how did I do it? I think I did it at some point. I forgot how I did it. I was able to, like, I think I just go like this or something. Or, no, oh, I go underneath. I go underneath like this, and then I use the grip here, and I'm able to manipulate the light the other way as well. Because I kind of cheat a little bit with this, because I kind of like to act like my guns have recoil. But I cheat a little bit here by just, you know, I know there's not that much recoil on this thing, so I don't have to bother with worrying about having the perfect stance or grip with that. Speaking of the grip, the reason I use this thing, like I said before, the guy didn't give me the actual like O-ring or like the screw to actually screw in the original one, so I had to like kind of stick with whatever he gave me here, and this is what it came with. It's like a Laylax MP7 Gas Blow Back Senmon grip, angle 4 grip. I've never actually used an angle 4 grip before other than this one today, and I don't like angle 4 grips, but like I said in the armory video, I don't know, the way it's designed, you can even see by the grooves here, it's just designed to be held in so many different ways. You can kind of hold it like this, right? You can hold it like you can just like pinch it like this if you need to go around a corner. You can hold the hole. There's just many ways to hold it. You could even just hold it like this, you know. There's so many ways to hold this thing, and I think it has more versatility than that flimsy little thing that you get with the original Marui one. It's kind of flimsy, I don't like it. Of course, the best mod would be get the Dremel, just cut off that part, and then get the full, you know, 963 Picatinny rail system, and that would be like the best thing to have, and you can put whatever grip you want on it. But for now, I'm gonna just stay with this because I don't have a Dremel, so maybe I'll get my boy to cut that for me or something like that. As we move down here on the top, we have just the default iron sights. So the iron sights are like pistol sights, and if you flip them up, they turn into the rifle sights. So with the current setup that I have right now, this would become, if you had a high-rised or maybe EXPX3 or something like that, a high-rise optic, you would be able to have this as a lower third co-witness, but as a low mount actually, this is actually a lower third co-witness right now. So it's not an absolute at all. If I actually flip this up, it actually just becomes a negative co-witness. It just blocks you completely. But having it like this becomes a lower third co-witness, which is really nice, kind of. And I can take these off at will just using a screwdriver like that. If we move down here, we have the bolt catch, which is weird because apparently on the real steel version of the MP7, you can see here, this actually manipulates downward for you to release the bolt. So if I were to rack the bolt, I can't, that's just to put a magazine in. If I were to rack the bolt here, okay, usually on the actual MP7, you would actually press down like this, and then it would release it. So it's a little bit more, you put it in, and you just press down. But with this, you have to press up, and that'll actually lock the bolt in. So that's a little bit of muscle memory you kind of gotta get used to. Hit my goddamn monitor there. Should be fine though, until I finish this video and find out my pixels are destroyed. So pushing up is a little bit of muscle memory you gotta get used to there. But other than that, that's just the only thing. Now we'll go to the trigger. There's a trigger safety on here. So instead of, it has double safety, I suppose. So you have, you know, your fire selector, you have the single fire and full auto. Nice and solid, gas blowback. And we have the trigger, which is a little bit mushy, if I couldn't say so myself. It just kind of ghosts that trigger. So the wall is very mushy. Like you can't really, there's no really hard wall. It's a very soft wall. I think it's like right here. Yeah, it's like right there. So it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of hard to train with the wall on this one, so not a big fan of the trigger, though it is pretty responsive. Now, when you go down to the trigger guard here, it actually has the mag release, which is similar to the USP. Now, you can go either push it down with this finger here, or you can push it down with this finger here. I use the thumb on this one, which is weird because since it's the same as the USP's mag release. On the USP, I actually use my middle finger to press down and reload. But with this gun, because it has so much weight in the back, I can't. So I have to keep that nice firm grip and then actually readjust my grip to actually press the magazine down. So if I were to put this in, if I did it this way, I kind of lose a little bit of my grip there. So it's better to just put it from here. But either way, I can't reload while aimed down sights without readjusting the grip. So I actually have to like face it towards me like a pistol and then go from there like that. And even the reload becomes more like a pistol reload rather than, you know, maybe like an L-shape, you know, an L-shaped rifle reload or something like that, or like an MP5 where it's like this. You can still do that, but then like some of the furniture gets in the way. So it's more like a pistol reload for me when I use the MP7, which is kind of the more unique reloads I've kind of discovered just by handling, you know, this weapon. Let's put the hammer down. Oh, it already is. Okay. So let's move up to the optic here that I have. This obviously doesn't come with it. This is my Holosun 503 CU. And this is usually high mounted. And for me, I've never really liked the submarine style of riser, like high rise T1 types. I've always liked them kind of low mounted, or if anything, get the reflex sight on there. I'd never really liked it. So I'm kind of just gonna keep this as a low mount. And it has a really, really nice sight picture. I don't know if you can see, I'm trying to angle the camera here, but I don't think you'll be able to. Nah, I don't know how to, maybe, let's see. Yeah, I don't know if you can really see that, but anyway, with this Holosun, there are two reticles you can use. You can use like the EOTech reticle, or you can just use a nice dot. And for me, I actually kind of like the dot on this one better than the Holosun, like the EOTech reticle, because this aperture is smaller than an EOTech window, so it kind of gets a little cramped in there. But for like CQB, like super fast CQB, and I have to like really bring up the gun really quick. It's nice to use the EOTech reticle. But for this one, it's nice because the actual aperture window, you can't really tell. The actual aperture window is a lot wider than like a standard T1. So you get a nice big clear window when you just use the regular dot. So I'm gonna try using the regular dot with this. And it does an does a lower third co-witness with these little pistol iron sights. So it's actually really nice. So there's less height over bore issues, especially in CQB when you gotta like shoot through holes or something like that. So having a lower mount might be a little bit better. I've yet to actually test this in the field, but we'll see how it goes. I usually have a camera and a helmet mounted on my head, so I might run into issues with like the actual camera hitting the hitting the optic or something like that. So we're gonna have to figure that out through some simulation training or something like that. I did something like that like 4 times. So now we're gonna move to the stock before we go to the insides. So you can see that the stock folds inside like this, like a PDW stock. Well, this is a PDW, and it goes to 1 by pressing this button here, goes to 2, and then goes to 3. 3 lengths of pull here. And this is really, really long. You can see my arms right here can barely fit this thing. And I gotta actually put it down to setting 2, which might be okay. But I like to use it and take advantage of the size with setting 3, which actually still goes most of my forearm. So I can still manipulate, the weapon if I have to go prone or whatever, or like, hold on to something. It's just still a lot easier to, whatever, I can put it in my armpit or something like that, put it on my arm, right? So it's nice. It's still a nice, reasonable length. The only problem is now, is that if you're not consciously aware of it, and if I have like a low mount and I'm getting my face really, really close to the charging handle, the charging handle will literally hit me in the nose. So I had to be careful, and it gets like really loud. So I don't know if this will actually be practical if I'm using a low mount. So I'm thinking I might actually have to put the second setting just so that I'm a little bit farther away from this, maybe a good like 4 inches away rather than the previous 2 inches, because just by my natural way I'm doing it, it's still pretty far. But it's still pretty small either way, so it's not going to be such a big issue in terms of length. Maybe it just have to be the sacrifice I have to do in order for that. But I'm still kind of not liking the kind of cramped stance you actually have to kind of go through when you're doing low mount thing. But I guess that's just the standard SMG stance, kind of more of this lean forward into the gun rather than like, the M4, you just bring the gun up, right? So this one is more like a, more squared out stance. Especially when you're wearing like Peltors or like headsets, right? So you can't really aim like this and cheat, right? You gotta kind of just bring it up to you and just be more conscious about that. Bring your head forward a little bit just to get your eye on the sight without tilting the gun too high up, right? So something you gotta think about when you're choosing optic heights or choosing, length of pull on there. So gun is really short. It's actually really light as well, full polymer. Before we go to the internals, let's talk about the magazines. So the magazines, they're about 30 bucks or 35 bucks here, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 5 does not work. And you can see the differences here is that number 1 and number 2 are brand new magazines. I bought these fresh, they're brand new, so there's no leaks. So the problem was, when this guy sold me this, marked by these 2 tapes here, these two mags were leaking. And then this one, number 3, sorry, this is a new mag. number three over here was not leaking. But I feel like this is gonna leak at some point. But it looks like it's newer. Looks like a newer batch just by telling. I can tell just by the way it finishes. And you can tell by this one is like the oldest one here. It's like really grayed out. And then the second one here is like almost grayed out. But number 5 gave me the most problems. I opened this thing up and I tried to fix it so many times by putting the silicone grease, all that, and actually had a broken O-ring. So what I actually ended up doing is getting like red gasket maker, and I was like, I smothered that O-ring and I smothered the base, I smothered the entire thing just to give it the most OP seal you can. You could even see like the red here. I don't know if you can really see that, but there's like red gasket coming out through the edges here, and there happened to be a small little bubble and it's still cracked open. And after that, I was like, bro, this is done, bro. Look, there's no gas in here. So it was done. So once I saw that, I was like, this thing is done. So I'm gonna have to replace this because I can't open this anymore, though. It's gasket sealed. That was like my last thing after trying this. Now, gas number 4. Number 4 was actually all right. This one actually was able to hold whatever I did. You could see by the gasket. The gasket job was crazy on this one. I think I put more on this one than the other one. So maybe I didn't put enough on here, but this one didn't have a broken O-ring, so this one should still have gas. We'll actually check it right now. There we go. Yeah, it looks like it still works. Good job, baby boy. Nice. These things are actually just full out reservoirs. So when you open the base plate, it's just the base plate, a gasket seal, and like the valve pipe. And then this whole thing is just a reservoir. It's just an empty case. So it's not like a thing inside. It's like just a whole reservoir here. So it can hold about 2 magazines worth without getting too cold. But if you drop these things, they're done, bro. Like that base plate design is really awful. So that's something you don't want to drop. And they are pretty heavy. These magazines, so just be careful if you ever get an MP7 magazine. Luckily I live in Japan, so they're not that expensive to get. They're like 3,000 yen, so not a problem for me. But I'm probably gonna have to replace number 3 eventually, and then replacing this one for sure. And number 4 should be fine because it is gasket sealed. So run 5 mags. I like to have 5 mags for all my guns, my main guns, because I like to have 3 in the plate or the placard or whatever, 1 in the belt for speed, and then 1 in the chamber, like the mag well. So that's kind of my philosophy. But maybe with an SMG we can just go for 4, just 3 in the placard or 3 in like a belt kind of thing, and then 1 in the gun. That might work for an SMG as well. But I don't really shoot that much anyway. I'm just rotating these out. You guys know how it is. I don't shoot that much, and apparently I do. So yeah, that's that. So now we're gonna go to the internals here. So we're gonna start with this charging handle before we get there. This charging handle is made out of plastic and it's awful. And it feels like this thing's gonna break. Like I'm just trying to pull this bolt and it's just so ridiculously hard to pull in. I feel like if you lazily pull this and you just try to pull it by one of the things, it'll break. So if you're gonna pull this charging handle for the first time, you have a solid grip on that because it's literally just plastic being held together like this. So just one thing I don't like about this, I wish this was not polymer or maybe a better plastic, not ABS plastic like this front end here. I just wish that was a little bit better. So that being said, let's see if we can open our internals here, and I might have to cut the video a little bit. So what we're gonna do is remove the stock by pressing both the buttons there. And we're gonna see if we can take out these pins. Pretty sure you just punch them out. Yep, 1, 2, punch, like this. 1 and 2. And this will slide right off and take out the bolt carrier. Make sure the hammer is down, safe is on. And you should be able to pull out the entire assembly, like so. Inside, there should be nothing. Yep, you can see it there, and it has a little bit of a hop in there. Can't really see it, or maybe you can now if I put the angle like this. And yeah, so that's that. So now this gun is really, really light. So this is pretty much your bolt carrier, right? So you have your bolt. You have a plastic part of the bolt, which is kind of loose right now. You have the nozzle. And if you ever wanted to clean this out, you just kind of spray the nozzle inside and the outside of that. This feeds the gasket, which the gas goes in. Here's the nozzle here. Is there any damage to it? Nope. This is kind of greasy. I should actually clean this. And maybe I'll just clean this right now. Actually, I'm too lazy to clean it, so. Anyway, so this is your bolt. Then you have the recoil spring, right? So that'll go like right under here, like this. So you can see this little indent, and it goes right here. I gotta clean this thing. Very, very simple. And here's the charging handle that holds, holds the whole thing together. It just carries the bolt. So super easy, very simple system, and yeah, that's it. This is literally the inside. There's nothing left to show. You can't even really see the trigger assembly from here, so there's no point showing you that, but that's how the MP7 works. So what you're gonna do is, it's kind of annoying to put back together, so you basically have to put the recoil guide spring back. It's kind of like putting a pistol back together. Recoil guide spring like this, and then you kind of just slide it in like this through the little hexagon. You guide it. It's such a pain. You gotta know how to do this though if you're ever gonna become a Gas Blow Back owner. Here we go. There we go. And you got it. And it slides right back in. Right? And you just get lucky sometimes. Then you let the gods aside and go from that side. Get these little keyholes, Kingdom Hearts. Put that in there and let that hold it. All right, and that's it. And just make sure it's all good. And that's it. And now theoretically you would clean that, take out the stock, test it out, and that's it. And that, my friends, is the MP7A1 by Tokyo Marui. And I'll tell you how much it actually shot without actually showing you here. This thing shoots 89, bro. I'll throw the math up there later, but this thing shoots like 89. I think it was like 230 FPS. That's high. 89 is really high for a gas blowback gun. This thing should be shooting like 74, 75-ish. So I don't know if the previous owner had swapped something out, but this thing shoots 89. I was almost not allowed to use this at the field where I filmed the game for it, because that place is 90 limit. This is 89, bro. So it shoots really nice, and it's almost summer, so maybe it was the temperature, I don't know. But it shot really, really hot, and that's really nice, and I like that, and I enjoy that. So anyway, that is the in-depth review of the MP7A1 by Tokyo Marui. That is my Gunzeroni. If you guys want to see more of this, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'm gonna probably make more of these, probably next to the Mark 18 or something, maybe my pistols, and we'll just see how it goes. This will be some nice content for us to have between gameplays or something like that. And I appreciate all the support, guys. A lot of these kind of videos may get demonetized, so if you're looking to support the channel and see more of these kind of videos, consider becoming a channel member. You probably got to see this video super early if you are a channel member, and you also get to see like first drafts of stuff as well, and also get member exclusive videos as well. And it all starts at $5 a month. So throw your boy a bone, and he'll throw you some beautiful, beautiful content. But anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Mayday Sound Gaming, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.